Okay, so now I'm going to quickly go through the charts that I created in the previous weeks. If you're new here, what we're looking at right here is an NFT project, and the line right here represents the floor price, and then these bars represent the volume. That's how many people are buying and selling for that particular day. Now, for my strategy, I look for increasing volume because that tells me that new buyers are stepping into the market, and that's the type of project that I'm really looking for. So what I like to look for is a period of low consolidation, and then I like to see a big volume bar. Now I don't make my decision to buy right on that big volume bar. I wait until the next day to see if there's continued momentum. So I'm just going to go through these projects and we'll try to find some that fall into the criteria that I'm looking for. So this first one, we're seeing volume die down. Not a good sign. You really don't want to enter anything with dying volume. So this one's a pass. Prime Kong Planet. Okay, so this next one, Lives of Asuna, had some pretty big price increases, went from 1.18 all the way up to 3 Ethereum within the first week. But usually within that first week, you know, the pre-sale and the public sale, we do see a lot of price fluctuations and price increases at that time. And then what happens is when the artwork is revealed, the price goes down. Usually when the artwork is revealed, it's the biggest volume for that day because there's the most buying and selling happening that day. And then after that day, people sell the less desirable traits, and then the price continues to go down. And then once it goes down, I wait for new volume to come in to show that the paper hands have left, new buyers are stepping in, and then a new chance to ride the next momentum. Let's just say, for example, that this day was the reveal. We're seeing the price decrease, and what I'm looking for is new buyers stepping in, so a new volume spike. So let's say this was not the art reveal day. It would look really good to buy here, but what I like to do is I like to wait until the next day to see if that momentum is continuing. So the next day, which is over here, I want to see this volume bar at least half the size of the previous bar, half the size or bigger. So now that it's half the size or lower, then that's not a good entry point because that shows new buyers aren't stepping in. So I wouldn't be entering at this position because the buying has ceased. So that's just a quick recap of what I like to look for. So let's just continue looking on at the other projects now. All right, so this next one, Cool Pets NFT, seeing this very large volume spike right here. And what I like to do is just wait until the next day, like I mentioned, to see if that volume is continuing. It is less than half of this previous day, so that would signal a no-go to me. However, the price is increasing, so it went from 2 to 2.3. So even though volume is not half or greater than this, we're still seeing a price increase. We're still seeing that this volume bar is multiple times bigger than the previous one. So this would have been a buy entry right here at 2.31. The next day it's at 2.47. The next day 2.83. However, look at the volume on this day. There's barely any. So this would be an indication to sell because new buyers are not stepping in. So it would have went from a buy of 2.3, a sell 2 days later at 2.8, basically a 0.5 Ethereum profit. So that's what I like to look for my entries and exits. The whitelist IO, decreasing volume, not looking good at all. The beings, decreasing volume, not looking good. Farmland, decreasing volume, not looking good. Not looking good. As you can see, some of these, these projects had a lot of people buying them when they first came out, and they just completely die off. So that's why it's really important to make sure you follow the volume, because that tells you how many people are buying and selling and if there's new people stepping in. If there's not new buyers, then it's going to be harder for the price to go up. All right, so this next one, Monster Ape Club. This volume spike is somewhat big. However, it's not bigger than this one right here. And then on that big volume spike, the price goes down. So we don't want to see price going down on a big volume spike because that's signifying that someone is selling a lot off, meaning that someone who has a large portion of the project is selling off, or there's some coordination to sell off. So if you're seeing a big, large volume spike and then the next day the price is drastically lower, I just like to avoid those. All right, so Stoner Ape Club, not looking good. Zipsies, not looking good. I mean, look at the price on some of these. Went from 5 Ethereum to right now at 0.69. So that's a huge loss right there if you would have held. Notice how the floor price goes up when you see increasing volume. The floor price goes down when you see decreasing volume. So that's what you want to look for. Goss Ape. This is probably the reveal day, the artwork reveal, because usually that day we have the most volume, like I mentioned before. The next day after that, there's usually a sell-off, so I like to wait for the sell-off to happen. And then I like to wait for a big volume bar to happen to show new buyers. New buyer, as you can see though, new buyers never stepped in. The volume is continuing to go lower. So this one would not be a project I'd want to buy, even though you could see the floor price going up. From right here, the floor price is 0.15. Right now it's 0.23. So you'd think that this is a good project because the price is going up. However, the volume says something different. New buyers are not stepping in. So this is eventually going to crash. You really don't want to be caught in one of these traps. So let's go ahead and move on to the next chart. This one, Nizuki. See, for this one, you could see that the volume is dying down, but the price is going up. Now that's very rare to happen, and it usually happens with just blue chip NFTs. So this is a bit of an outlier, but the floor price is already at 14.3, so it's pretty much priced out of all of our range. So let's just go ahead and move on. Killer GF. See the artwork reveal. Price dies down. Artwork reveal is at 2. Price right now is at 0.58. So that's why I always say sell before the artwork reveal day. So if you bought in the pre-sale, the public sale around 0.6, 0.13, you sell right before the artwork reveal, which would have been around 2 Ethereum. All right, next one, Metroverse. Volume dying down. Price dying down. Nothing's looking good. Creeps Reptile Armory. Volume dying down. Price dying down. It's a pass. Mega Apes. Pass. So just so you know, I mostly pay attention to the volume more than the floor price, because the floor price can be manipulated, but the volume can't. The volume tells you people are buying and selling. And this is another example of why I sell before the artwork reveal. This was the art reveal at 6.98. This whole time the price is going up all the way into the art reveal, and then it goes down. 6.98, so that's basically 7 Ethereum. Right now it's at 2.98. So that's a huge loss right there. That's why you sell before the artwork reveal. Alright, next one, Grumpy Pandas. Dying down volume, not good. MGDC, dying down volume. Nostalgia, dying down. Cool Monkey. This would have kept me on my toes. I would have saw this, and like I mentioned before, I don't buy on that first volume bar. I wait to see if the next day has sustained momentum. So like I mentioned, I want to see half the bar or higher. Right now it's at half the bar or lower. It's way down here. It's at the previous volume before this day. It's at this previous day volume. So that tells me that that was just a one-off situation. It's going to go down from there, and it did. It went from 0.12, now it's to 0.66. Now you might be looking at this over here and you might be saying, okay, so here's one big volume bar. I'm going to wait until the next day. This one is half or higher, so this must be a green light. But the thing was, there was no consolidation here. This pattern works best if there's a period of low volume consolidation. As you can see, there was only one bar here, so that's not a consolidation. I know this may seem to be a little bit confusing, and there are going to be situations where the setup looks perfect, but it still doesn't work. There's really no perfect trading strategy out there. But what I like to look for is just opportunities where there's a more likely chance of the price going up, and that's what volume helps me with. So one thing that also would make you a good trader is knowing when to sell at a loss, knowing when to just cut your ties and move on. So for that, that's what these videos are going to help you with. All right, moving on, Ape mfers. This must have been the reveal. Remember, we wait to see a sell-off and a consolidation after the reveal because the price usually goes down. So here is the consolidation period. We saw one big volume spike here. I would have been interested at this level. However, I would be waiting to see what happens the next day to see if there's continued momentum. In this situation, there is not. The volume bar is basically not even there. So this would have gave me the indication not to buy. Now, if this candle bar was higher than this, then that would have gave me the indication to buy. So I'm just looking for the perfect setup here. Moving on, little heroes, dying down. This was probably the art reveal. And then the sell-off. No new buyers ever came in. Project is dead. Crypto bats. Sell-off. Project is dead. Next set of charts, the Metroverse. Project is dying. The Anamoon. Project is dying. Azuki, we talked about this one. Dr. Evil, Frankenpunks. Project is dying. Warp Sound. Nice volume spike here. However, the next day it was not continued, so that gives me an indication not to buy. And then since then, the price goes down. No new buyers are stepping in. X Rabbits, dying project. C01, dying project. FOMO, dying project. Nudie Community, not looking good. Kaiju Queens, not looking good. Meta Doge Club, not looking good. I mean, it went from 2 Ethereum all the way to 0.1. So that's like losing 95% of your money. So if you got in this project for whitelist, you'd want to sell, of course, before the artwork reveal, but let's say you were holding after that for some reason. You would look to sell when the volume is continuing to decrease and no new buyers are stepping in. So that would have been around this area or this area. You would have just wanted to sell at a loss, which would have been, 1.37, but if you were to continue to hold, it basically goes to zero. So just cut your losses quickly and move on to the next project because there are new projects coming out every single day. And the final set of charts that I created, I think over a month ago, is this one we're looking at right now. We're looking at the day chart and the hour. So each bar here represents an hour, each bar here represents a day. I'm just going to go over the days. As you can see, price, volume going very low. This one's a dead project. Koodles, another dead project. Origin project, not looking good. In-betweeners, this would have got me interested. These volume spikes, this one, that's multiple times bigger than all the other ones. There was a consolidation period. So we wait for the next day to see if there's continued momentum, which was this day, and there was not. Look how small this bar. This bar is the same size as these previous ones. So that is not continued momentum, so I wouldn't be interested. NFT Board Bunny, not looking good. Nouns 3D, not looking good. Wonks, not looking good. See, this one's pretty interesting. Fancy Bears, this would have got me interested. This bar would have got me not interested. However, as you can see, the price is continuing to go up. So this price action is not very normal, and I'd be a little bit worried about manipulation going on here. So I would just avoid this one, me personally. The Secret Society. Decreasing volume. Chubby Kaiju. This volume bar is pretty much up to these previous ones, so there is a period of low consolidation. The next day happens, it's half or greater than the previous day. That could have been an entry. An entry at 0.15. The next day, 0.19, the volume is continuing. However, this day here, the volume drops off significantly, so I'd be looking to exit the position. So it would have been a buy around 0.15, a sell around 0.15, a break-even trade. Sometimes that happens, and you just have to learn to move on to the next project. Fortress Arena. I don't like this one because some days there's barely any volume. So I would just avoid that one. NBYAC, decreasing volume. Nothing looks good here. So I think one thing that you can gain from these charts is at the beginning of the project is where you make the money from. towards the end it dies off, the price goes to nothing. So you really don't want to be holding any NFT projects. You want to sell when you see decreasing volume because people are just moving on to the next one. So that is my strategy and how I make my money in NFTs. And for future videos, I'll keep current up to date on projects that are being released. But just like I mentioned, one of my bots is not working correctly, and that's why I'm doing a recap here instead of talking about new projects. So for the next video, I think in about a day or two, I will talk about the new projects that are being posted on my top volume channel here. As you can see, they're all new. All posted within 15 days because that's my criteria here. I basically post NFTs that have been minted within the last 15 days and that are sorted by highest volume, because volume is where the money goes. That's where all the eyes are at. That's where people are buying and selling. So that's the type of projects I like to keep my eyes on. Now, if you'd like any of the charts that I talk about in this video, you'll find them over in this channel right here called Live Charts. And I also have one other channel that sends me live alerts. It's called Minting Alerts. And for this particular channel, what it does is it instantly tells you when an NFT project is being minted rapidly. Now, just because it's being minted rapidly doesn't mean it's going to do well in the secondary market, but when it mints rapidly, that has the highest chance of it selling out and then doing well in the secondary market because they're sold out. When they're sell out, that's when people have a bidding war. So if you'd like to have this live information, the Discord link will be in the description below. This gets posted 24/7 every time a project gets minted rapidly, and the top volume channel gets posted once an hour of the projects that have the highest trade volume. I think that about wraps it up, guys. I will talk to you in a couple days.